Hello, hello. We're going live. Hey guys. Hey guys. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you happen to be listening to us on iTunes, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. I very much appreciate all the reviews that you guys have left so far. Quick shout out to some of my stand-up dates. I'm going to be on the Jersey Shore next month, June 17th, Comedians of the Compound. We're going to be at Uncle Vinny's. So come check that out. And then a couple days after that, I'll be at Jinx on the Boardwalk, also in Point Pleasant Beach. So that'll be July 20th on Jinx on the Boardwalk. Check that out, guys. I want to make sure this stream is good, that we can see this on YouTube. Okay, good. We're good. And then, yes, more dates coming up. I'm going to be in New Orleans August 13th and 14th at a new theater open up down there. And then Comedians of the Compound are coming to Vegas September 10th and 11th. Then I'll be back in Dallas at Hyenas. I love that club in Dallas, September 17th and 18th. Tickets for these shows are on my website, and if they're not, they will be soon. Check them out. Would love to see you guys at some shows. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. They are my go-to for all things CBD related. If you're having anxiety, if you want something maybe a little bit like lighter and more natural to help you with anxiety, I highly recommend Cushy Dreams. They offer a full lineup of premium smokable CBD. They specialize in extraordinary CBD-rich flower, aka bud in cans, and pre-roll CBD joints. It's just like high-quality weed, the smell-wise, taste-wise, but you're not going to get high. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. There's under 0.3% THC here. It's cannabis that ships directly to you. It's legal in all 50 states. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. They take the artisan approach. Every run is in a small batch, 100% hand trimmed, never machine trimmed. You can go to their website, cushydreams.com, to check out their independent lab tests to show compliance and purity. And you can see all of this on their website. Each batch is slow cured for 2 to 4 weeks to guarantee maximum freshness and preserve flavor and cannabinoids. And best of all, it's grown here in the USA. They come in specific indica sativa blends like relax, dream, energy, hustle, create, peace. So if you want to be a little bit more up, a little bit more down, relaxing before bed, they got your back. Go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY, and get some high quality bud. Use promo code CMP at checkout. You're going to get 20% off every single order. Isn't that great, guys? Okay. I'm so excited to have this guy on the podcast today. I feel like we've been friends for years. He is a comedian. His album, #1 album of the year, is available right now for purchase. Also has a wonderful podcast called We Don't Deserve Dogs. And I love dogs too. We're going to get into all of it. Richie Redding, how are you?
Chrissie, what's up?
You're looking good. You're looking flushed. You're looking youthful.
Yeah, I underestimated how long it takes me to recover from a Peloton workout. So yeah, I look like a maniac right now. But
so the Peloton
glad to be here.
The Peloton is the bike that you have at home, right?
Yeah.
You don't like go to a class for that. Did you get into that like during the pandemic?
No, we were pretty early adopters for it. You couldn't actually get them during the bandy.
Oh, but, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet to have then.
How often do you do it?
I do it maybe once or twice a week. That I've been to the gym for like 16 months. I've got a pretty sweet circuit in the basement.
Same. I keep meaning to go. Like I have little weights. I have like bands, but like I don't know. I have a hard time. I will prioritize just about everything else before fitness. Like I'll be like, oh, I got to do some podcast stuff, or like, oh, I got to clean, or like, oh, I got to work. I don't know.
I just really like working out in my underpants, and I don't think unless there's a gym that's very underpants centric, I don't think I'm going back.
Yeah. Yeah. You could probably just show up. They make long underwear. I just bought some for Frank. They were like longer, like boxer brief types. But yeah, I just went to an Orange Theory class when I was with my sister out in Vegas last weekend, and I love it. I think I want to try to maybe join one up where I live. Like they just kick your ass. Like you go on autopilot and then an hour goes by and you've burnt like 500 calories. It's just like these quick stations. It's like weights, it's running, but they do circuits. So you're not just like on the treadmill wanting to kill yourself. So
I'm a psycho that does that to myself, but I still look like shit with my shirt off, but I really bust my ass. But yeah, this is the gym. Well, the gym.
Where
slash
are you,
basement.
by the way?
Yeah,
are you
how
in a
did it take you?
Children's rec room? Are you in a daycare right now? What is that?
This is the mural from Lisa, my girlfriend's bat mitzvah.
Oh, you gotta keep that.
Lisa saves the planet and the animals. And yeah, I mean, she did go on to become a vet, which is pretty crazy, but Urnarian, not Urin.
Not like I was. So we shouldn't thank her for her service.
You're right.
Although keeping animals healthy is pretty good. It's pretty legit.
She's for sure my primary care physician.
Does she give you like animal vitamins and like animal pills?
I mean, it's all the same shit,
right? How different could we be?
Yeah, it's the exact same stuff. I've been to the doctor like once since I started dating her like 7 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. That's really exciting. I can't believe she saved a huge mural from her bar mitzvah. So it's like you've had that like 20 years now? She saved it for like.
Well, she's 14, so no, it was
just had it the year.
Yeah. But are we talking about Cosby? What's happening?
Oh God, yeah, Cosby's off the hook. He's free.
All of our efforts worked, Chrissy.
Hooray, we did it, guys. All of our prayers have been answered.
All those dance parties we had at the outside of the prison so he could see us.
Oh my God.
Celebrating him.
Do you think he'll go back on tour? Do you think he was writing in prison? Dude, or wherever he was?
It would be wild.
I would go see it. I would absolutely go see him.
I mean, dude, I mean, it would be so far beyond like the tension in the room of like with Louis, it was like, okay, are you going to talk about it? With him, it's like, hey bro, are you going to mention that time that you got accused of raping 55 women or whatever the fucking number was?
Yeah. Or he could do like an off-Broadway like stage show and like bring them all on, and then like they could be part of it. Like we could get Lin-Manuel on it, and it'd be very diverse. And I think if he came out like guns blazing, just sort of like a tell it like it is, commenting on society, and like he could of course have like a prepared like, I was always innocent. I don't know. I guess they probably would tell him what he could say as far as that stuff goes, because they wouldn't want him to like.
I don't think he can get tried again for it.
Wow. And it was basically a technicality, right? Like, somebody told him he wasn't going to be tried, but then it was something sounding so lame.
Well, it was that there was a verbal agreement that anything that he said in the civil suit wouldn't be used in pursuing a conviction after that. And then they changed DAs, and the next DA was like read those transcripts. It was like, oh yeah, remember that time that he admitted to giving women Quaaludes so he could fuck them while they were sleeping? Yeah, and like, so yeah, that apparently is like inadmissible. But
the chat is fired up. The chat is having differing opinions. Golgo thinks Cosby is not guilty of what he was charged with. I mean, he did admit to some things.
It's an interesting heuristic to look at it through, because if you read the Mueller report and decide that Trump was completely cleared, you're a Republican, and if you read the Cosby case and think that he was innocent, you're black. It's how
he should. I would watch him do a show.
What would that be called? Don't sleep on me.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the cause.
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody gets free pudding. It's really wild. I think it would sell. I think people would go see him. I think they'd be curious.
He had a tour between getting arrested and being on trial,
Really?
right? Yeah, he
Oh,
did some
wow.
dates that were like super fucking awkward, but he was still doing 3 hours of sitting still. And yeah, there was some, he made some kind of joke about it. And that's what, and it like, it obviously drew heat. And that was when they're like, okay, the tour's over. Like,
Just like that.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Do you think he shouldn't be allowed to tour? Do you think he
I
should
mean,
be? Because there's going to be people trying
no,
to, I guess,
yeah,
cancel him if this tour happens.
right. I mean, no, I mean, I don't think anybody should be disallowed to talk. And I mean, there's a free market to it, right? That like, if I mean, it was the same, drastically different between him and Louis, but it was like the people that were trying to shut him down from being able to appear at comedy clubs is like he could sell out MSG 6 months from now.
You
Like
mean
once he
Louis?
had, yeah, like
Yeah.
as soon as he has the time. So I mean, I think there's kind of a free market speaking just for this, right? That like, who's really been canceled in comedy that like their own audience isn't allowed to see them?
I can't think of anybody that
Owen
it would all
Benjamin's
be
the closest, probably.
okay, right. Yeah, I was gonna say like I could think of a few smaller examples, but yeah, Owen Benjamin, like whereas they had their own audience and then like were seriously thwarted from doing shows. I can't but I wasn't friends with him.
Isn't Owen Benjamin? This is only like hearsay, but he's trying to start like a compound of canceled people in like northern Idaho or like,
Really?
yeah, western Idaho, like where that whole like weird zone is where they're trying to like
Yes, I have heard
absorb some of
this.
Oregon.
I have heard
Yeah.
this. And then like people I guess some of the locals maybe are like oh no, he shouldn't have his I don't know,
Well,
his collective up here or something.
yeah, well, it's right. Yeah, call it a collective is way better than calling it a compound. But it's so funny that like, his whole thing was always like, I am not alt-right at all. This is like, this got hung on me by Jeselnik, but I am starting a radical compound in Idaho. Like, whoa, which one is it, dude? It's like, do you have a fucking
Oh, okay. I'm gonna bring this up.
military
Neighbors.
coup?
Yeah. Okay, neighbors. This is exactly it. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. This article about exactly what we're talking about. Neighbors fear bear-themed compound will be next Ruby Ridge. Alt-right, of course. Alt-right comedian Owen Benjamin wants to create a refuge for his internet friends in Idaho. His neighbors, however, worry the rural site will become a scary militia haven. Hello, we are the bears. This is our bear terrier. Oh boy. I don't know. Let him have his ranch. Like,
Right. I mean,
why not?
right. I mean, there's militias up there. There's the friggin' Aryan Nation is running meth out of that bitch. Like, I don't think
Are they really?
Yeah, I don't think some fans of a of a comedian are really going to be the big problem. But also, like, I mean, could you imagine like turning your life into a fucking meet and greet?
I mean, if you enjoy meeting fans,
Right. Like, it's
and you
cool
don't
to meet fans, but like a commune?
people have been talking about it more and more. Like you know, to go semi-anarchist, like not rely on the government, trade, barter, like raise kids together, like just sort of try not to need any outside help.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not
I'm for sure supporting the Black Hammer Society. I don't know if you're following
no,
them.
I don't I am not following the Black Hammers.
Oh, the Black Hammers are it's very fun.
Is it like an all like black basically like this like a living area?
Well, yeah, they've acquired some land, I believe, by way of donation from some extremely woke white guilties that gave them the land as way of reparation, and it's a colonizer-free zone.
Okay.
It's basically a bunch of college kids that didn't go to college, but they've got like a couple AR-15s and like some seeds and some farm.
Oh
some,
Lord!
like,
I
and
mean,
a
we all
hoe.
saw how well like Chaz and Chop wins, like when they would try to like plant
Right.
stuff over like a tarp
So,
with dirt. Yeah.
so imagine the Chaz zone, but it's the most fucked up barren land that you can possibly like. It's desert and tundra with like some river going through it, but it's absolute rock. And they post all these things of like all non-colonizers welcome, but like they got like immediate blowback because the one of the girls that was like really helping them is at best like the lightest toffee color that you can possibly imagine. It's like she's like midwinter Halle Berry with some whitening cream on top of her. So they already have problem of proving your lineage, that you have no colonizer in you.
Right. That's gonna be
Or
hard to
it's like,
do.
yeah, it's like, but then it's like, oh wait, but then what if you're somewhat colonized? Like it's so absurd.
Yeah.
And
What if you got banged by somebody way back when?
right.
You know?
So it's basically going to come down to like, are you Octoroon? You can get in.
Oh, thank you, Raj, for the super sticker. Yeah, it was interesting, the topic of cancel culture, of like who really is canceled. And I wonder if folks have asked you about this, because you opened for Katt Williams for a long time. And
Yeah.
he spoke out kind of recently on cancel culture. I'm sure at this point, like, everybody has seen this video, but I'm just going to play it really quick for the audience, for people who have not seen it, who have not heard of this. But I thought his take on sort of cancel culture was kind of interesting. I wanted to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to play it for the audience really quick. Did you? And that came out like a month ago. People were talking about this a lot. Probably. Yeah, I think maybe beginning
my
of
hair
June.
Is really retarded. R-worded.
So how long did you? I guess maybe I should have asked first. How did you meet Katt? How did you end up working with him? How did you sort of?
It's a crazy, somewhat circuitous story that the worst L I ever took in my life was at this venue called Robin Hood Del East in Philly, and it was 7,000 people. It was, I think it was this weekend. It was 4th of July weekend. It became known as the Free Beanie Siegel concert. I had no business being there. I was like 5-6 months into comedy, and it was just like, it's a long story, but it was just a savage booing. I mean, just got the living shit booed out of me by, like, yeah, it was absurd. And I told that story to my buddy Toure 7 or 8 years later when we were on tour doing a military tour in Korea. And when we got back, he's like, yo, Robin Hood Del East just hit me up. They're looking for comics. Would you want to even the score? It's like, yeah, fuck yeah. And this time, like, did really well. And the manager, or like the production manager, gave me his card and it was like, hey, I'd love to get you on some shows again. And like once every 4 months, when I wanted to comedy kill myself, for lack of any bookings going on, I would hit that guy up. And for like 4 or 5 years. And he hit me up just out of nowhere on a Friday, and it was like, hey, can you open for Katt Williams tomorrow in Philly? It's like, fuck yes, I can.
Did you shit your pants?
Yeah, I was psyched. And it was 15 minutes in for his crowd, and I was super psyched about it, and like I knew what I was doing at this point. And a black crowd in Philly for me is it's like cheating. It's like I know the cheat code for that audience. And
what is the cheat code?
Just go hard, like not give a
Mhm.
fuck, go super hard right away. But he wasn't there yet. I was like, oh, I want this guy to see me, and he
Mm.
wasn't there.
How
So
many years into comedy were you at this point?
mm, probably 7 or 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's solid. You're like solidly ready to open for somebody good. I mean,
Yeah,
you're probably possibly headlining at that time too.
I mean, not for this crowd, but so there's yeah, it was like 7,000 people probably, and I kill, but I'm like, fuck, he's not here. And I walk off the stage, and it's straight out of a movie. This dude comes out of the shadows, like, young man, absolutely stupendous. I mean, like fur hat, solid gold glasses, fur coat, purple suit. Mwah. Like,
Wow.
just, yeah, Pete Katt. I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like, I can't believe you watched. And he's like, I didn't watch, but I heard the crowd, and it was absolutely stupendous.
Wow.
I was like, dude, I would love to do more
Sounds
shows
like
with
a
you.
Black Willy Wonka. I mean, he just does a somersault. Like, welcome
Yeah.
to my factory.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll have you on the road, and that's my word.
Wow.
And like 2 months later, I got a call from him, from his people. And it was the same thing again. It was Thursday night. And it was like, hey, can you be on a plane at 6 a.m. tomorrow? And it's like, okay. And then and every weekend it was happening like that. It was just like super last minute until I finally asked him if I could be on the tour. And he's like, yeah, I'll call you. And there was like a 2-week gap. He was supposed to call me like the next day. Shit, like keeps getting pushed off. Then finally, it's like, it's not going to happen. And
Okay.
then at like 4 a.m. on a Friday, I get a call from him. Well, it's a 310 number I don't know, and I pick it up, and he's like, yeah, Richie, this is Katt Williams. I was just going to leave you a message, but can you come to Texas in like 2 hours? I was like, okay. so
Ah.
so I go. I like just get out of bed, throw a
What
suit.
time
Like,
was this?
it was 4 a.m.
Oh my
and I had
God.
to be at the airport at like 6. And it's like part hazing, but it's also like he's just the kind of dude that he doesn't want to do anything he's not feeling until he has to absolutely do it. So
He sounds like a last minute guy. Yeah. I feel like this
yeah,
would give me a lot of anxiety.
a
Like
bit mercurial.
just not only do I fly by the seat of my pants, so does everybody who works with me.
Yeah, but it was always like first class ticket. It was like first class lodging. Like everything was super nice. But it finally gets down to the point that like everybody that's already on the tour, they're like, yeah, man, you just have to talk to him. Like he really likes it. It's just like you got to talk to him. And it's like finally, it's like 3 shows later, it's the final night, and it winds up that it's just me and him on the in his green room. I was like, hey, and like we're like leaving. And I was like, hey man, should I like cancel my shows? He's like, do you want to cancel your shows? I was like, am I going to be on your tour? Do you want to be on my tour?
Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yes. He's like, motherfucker, I already told you you're on. I was like, when? He's like, I left you a message. It's like, Katt, I picked up and you got all fucked up because I picked up. He's like, oh, you know what? You did fuck that up. I was going to leave you a message you'd have for the rest of your life. But you're on the tour. So,
Wow.
yeah, that was a very long answer. And then it was just, I guess it was like 3 years in a row of touring with him. And we did like 180 shows or something. It was a crazy run.
What kind of stuff would he have in his green room? Like what kind of like snacks or what did he like to have?
It was whatever the local soul food was. He would like hire like local Black businesses basically, and just a ton of good booze, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you? So I'm sure you kind of knew his feelings on comedy overall. You probably would have like long chats, about like the industry, right? Or was the tour mostly like kind of all business, like running around? Like, did you have a lot of time to chat with him? And
I mean, I would say if anybody wants to stay on tour with a celebrity, is the secret is to not try to be their best friend.
Okay.
Like they're all cats. Like they want to interact with you on their terms. Um, so yeah, I mean, we definitely had some of those chats, but I mean, his thing about cancel doesn't have a culture. It's also coming from it's easier for somebody in his position to say that because like he's a guy he's an OG. He's allowed to say bitches and hoes and and like I'm sure he's done a ton of trans jokes. He's done a ton of gay jokes and shit like that, right? Nobody's going to go like his audience isn't going to go back and hold that against him.
Right. He's like, uncancelable. He's reached a level of like fame and fandom that
he fought a child and the child won and he's still at it, yeah, I mean, dude, you're in such a better position starting out there as opposed to like I feel like there's so many comics and that I wonder if you'd agree that it's like they're more concerned with being right than funny.
Yeah.
And if that's what your concern is, then whatever is right is always going to keep moving to the left, like correct, right? Whatever's correct, whatever's the correct viewpoint, that keeps getting fucking moved to the left. So it's impossible to hold the gold standard of being woke, right? I mean, it's like it's a meme at this point. How
no one is perfect. And
yeah,
I've also heard a similar thing said in relationships, like, would you rather be right or be happy? So there's always like there's no one who's going to be. And I listened to this Katt thing a few times. I agree with some of what he said. I have a problem with some of what he said as well. And he mentions the speed limit. Well, we need the speed limit. I don't feel like that's a fair comparison because it's not the speed. Like words are not as dangerous as a speeding car. Words only have the value that we give to them. Words are not, to me, I don't think words are dangerous. It's just you're as offended or as hurt as you want to be.
Right.
Even if someone is coming at you with the most triggering shit, like it's your job as an adult to like, don't let anybody steal your peace. Like, don't let anybody disturb like what you have going on.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair to compare like cancel culture to the speed limit because it's a matter of taste. Like same thing, like a lot of comics say the N-word if I wanted to, or if like if a black person wanted to, they could be like, I have to cancel. It wouldn't work with Katt, but somebody on a lower level, like I gotta cancel this person because they say the N-word and I'm offended. But it's like, guess what? That offended people don't make up comedy clubs. Like they're not buying comedy. So it's like, I feel like cancel culture empowers the offended few and allows them to take away content and comedy from the masses. Like, why should the offended few be able to dictate what everybody else can and can't enjoy?
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, Katt's coming at it from the perspective of like the words that you say while you're on stage. But yeah, I mean, I think like the speed limit and guardrail shit is like, did you rape somebody? Like, are there credible allegations?
Like things you've actually done, right?
Yeah, like actions versus words, I think.
Of course, like
should be
do something despicable in your real waking life. Like, of course, there should be real world consequences for that. But like, I think, and there's separate rules for celebrities than there are for regular people. Like, look at Chrissy Teigen; she got so many chances. Like, there had to be like 100 examples of her bullying for somebody to finally be like, oh yeah, we should maybe try to cancel her, or maybe not even cancel, but like there needs to be repercussions. Like let's get her cooking wear line at a Target, out of Bed Bath Beyond, whatever.
Didn't you have something to do with that?
Maybe no. I blame Candace Owens. I think she was a huge catalyst for that. I just pointed out that she deleted tweets last summer. No big deal.
Dude,
I think, and they've got teams of PR people helping them through. I feel like cancel culture hurts mostly like the little guy. Like regular people and famous people have different rules. Like Katt Williams is kind of uncancelable, but like a 2-year comic coming up like says the wrong thing at an open mic, and well, now he can't perform ever again. He can't do better. He can't grow, evolve as a comic because Facebook groups have come after him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, there was a weird thing that was happening a few years ago in the open mic scene of like cringe lord white guys that were saying hard R-N words like a lot.
And that's the thing. Like, if that doesn't go over, like, you'll figure it out. I think there's a difference between learning your lessons and like people who are bombing and not connecting with an audience. They of course should not be given a free pass, like have no consequences. Yeah. I just don't think that you should be forever tarnished, like forever unbookable and unable to grow and have a career just because.
Yeah, I mean, the way that came to a head was that there were some guys that like Dave Temple that were like, I will slap the shit out of you if you ever say that on stage again. And guess what? They stopped saying it. Dave wasn't like, I'm going to fucking make sure you never work in this town again. Like, no, you are going to feel.
And what? If you really want to, just say it on stages where Dave Temple won't be around. Like, if it's really that important to you and you need it for creative expression. Thank you so much, Gary, by the way, for the super chat. It was nice to meet you in Vegas this past weekend. A lot of good friends. Thank you, Alex Stein, for the super chat. Chrissie is the queen of all comedy. I thought you were going to say alt comedy, but thank you, all comedy.
Yeah. And guys, she's also going to start a commune where you can live with her.
I will. Really neat. I will be going. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be going to Iowa, but I think it would be nice. Like, have a garden. I don't know. What would I have at my commune? Like blowjob classes and like Zumba. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds awesome until your thousands of male fans all show up and they realize that you're going to teach them how to give blowjobs. Man, this was misadvertised. I have got to get my money back.
Richie, has anybody ever tried to like cancel you or burn you or like talk shit about you in Facebook groups or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know. I know I've never been on like these bullshit list of like 50 racist comedians.
You've never been put on a racist comedian list, which I was left out of that list. I'm still upset about it.
Try harder. I was actually talking about this with I did a show and I had Gordon Baker Bone in the car with me, and like a lot of the times I just stay out of the bullshit. This is racist, that's racist thing, because like. I'm a white guy that gets away with a ton of racial humor, and like, and it's something that I like. I try to avoid it, right? And it's like
the conversations, you mean?
Well, no, it's like I'll say to myself, like, I'm gonna write some stuff that's not dirty, not racial, and it's like it just comes out this dirty racial bit, but The thing that is exciting about doing racial comedy, especially right now, is that like it's like street art. It's like, if it's good, it's art. If it's bad, it's graffiti. And with comedy, it's like if it's good, it's funny. If it's bad, it's racist.
Yeah, and I don't even like when you say I get away with a lot of racial humor. That just means you're good, Richie. Like it's not even like, oh, I shouldn't have. I got away with it. It's like, no, you made people laugh. Like that's what I love too about comedy. It's like, yeah, a whole audience full of people, like they might not have walked in and been like, I'm gonna laugh at a necrophilia joke today. I'm gonna laugh at a rape joke today. I'm gonna laugh at like a really dirty blowjob joke. But it's like you can charm them and you take them on like the journey of you, and you kind of, not that you trick the audience, but like you charm them into like being on your side. They like you. They see your point of view. And then they're laughing at stuff they may not have thought they were going to laugh at because you sold them on it.
Are you running some corpse fucking jokes right now?
No, I don't have any new ones. I just have my old necrophilia joke. I don't know. Just I feel like in some senses this like conversation of cancel culture is played out, but when I listen to like this clip of Katt, I'm just like, oh, you're not even in the same league.
Right.
Like young comics should not be taking his advice on cancel culture. I don't think we're not even in the same league. Like,
Well, yeah, that, and also it's like, I mean, look, he's brilliant, and there's a philosopher side to him that I've seen before. That, like, I mean, he's very often the smartest guy in the room. You know, like, even though he's like his comedy might not always come across that way, he's extremely smart. But if the cancelers came for him, almost none of his shit would hold up. Right? He actually did an amazing bit about Cosby, which was he was like, you know, I didn't believe Cosby at first. It's like when one bitch said he raped her, I didn't believe it. When 10 bitches said he raped her, I didn't believe it. But when 35 bitches, like, 35 bitches never lied about shit. You know, so, but like, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's like there at a certain point, they're so big because, I mean, look, they tried to cancel Kevin Hart, right? What did they actually do? They got a fucking one job taken away from him.
Yeah, they got him to take himself out of I think the Grammys, hosting the Emmys or the Oscars. Yeah.
So they fucked up the Oscars. Right, they made the Oscars less good.
Yeah,
and which, I mean, by the way, like, the Oscars it's
no one's
amazing.
Watching it.
Well, that, and like just anything that's commercially viable anymore is not going. It's like there's all these Oscar-winning movies that lost money basically, just because like it's just getting voted on woke lines, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's gay bummers and black bummers and trans bummers.
Yeah, I don't know why any of these award shows would ever try to hire a comedian, like, ever. It's like you're the opposite of comedy at this point. You are like not edgy, not speaking on behalf of real people. It's like all corporate, all sponsored, just not fun. I do agree with what Katt said. He's like, well, it's teaching us to be more sensitive. You shouldn't need to say all the worst words possible to get your art across, to get your point across. I do agree with that part because I am not somebody who needs to say pussy on stage. Like, I will take somebody like right up to the point of being like naughty, but I won't go over the line. So I agree with that point. Like, you shouldn't be trying to be as offensive as possible. But if in a joke saying the word retarded is way funnier than saying the word, well, they might be autistic or slightly on the spectrum or Asperger's. Well, it's like, well, you should get to say the word retarded then, if that makes your joke funnier.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it changed the it changed the framework of things, and I think it's like part of the craft now is breaking the rules in the right way, right? That it's like doing, to your point, necrophilia, doing, you know, retard jokes, whatever, but like without coming right out and saying it most of the time. But yeah, and then when it is, it's like when you do actually say whatever this forbidden word is, a lot of the time it's just it's almost like a tension breaker because everybody is thinking that exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just makes me think, like, do we want to live in a society that rewards people for being offended? Because it's like the people who are really hype on canceling, it's like they're not typically comedy fans. They just love to feel powerful. And this wasn't happening, of course, in the 80s and 90s, the heyday of comedy, because at that time, comedians were not in everybody's pocket like they are today. So it's like we're reaching people who have no sense of humor, who just never would have come across comedy like in the 80s or 90s. But now it's like we're more likely with social media to be in people's faces who, not that we shouldn't, but that we wouldn't organically, they wouldn't have organically come across us. And I think social media has like which is great. It's been great for comedy. It's more exposure, but it's like it's more like dangerous exposure too. And I think society has already very much rewarded these offended people because like, oh, you're special and sensitive because you're offended. And it's like
Yeah.
the only thing that I'll agree with, like Nicole Arboron, like there's a lot I don't like about her, but I do agree with her point that like we should be raising a society of people who are tougher than words. And it's going to take you a lot farther in life to not be offended or to like get over what somebody said than to be like, chewing on it all day long. And
Right. Well, also it's this thing of like self-exclusion, right? That it's like people start with, I mean, I feel like identity politics is another thing. It's like, it's an overplayed term, but it's like, the thing that people used to like kind of hide is now their Twitter bio. It's like, hi, I'm Richie, type 2 bipolar. Like,
yeah.
right away. It's like you're putting your mental illness first. But with these, like, with the groups that these new groups that 10 years ago didn't exist, that now come for the heads of people that totally would support them, right? Like there's a ridiculous thing of I was on Kumia's show when the day that it happened, that it was like, it was Alyssa Milano tweeted something about like shout out to all to all the women in the world that are like, shout out to all my pregnant women in the world, right? It was something as innocuous as that. And some trans chick goes, not all women can get pregnant, Alyssa. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wish I could edit this tweet. It's like,
but you can delete it. So
right. But it's that kind of thing though. And I was having this discussion the other day of like how many non-binary people there suddenly are.
Yeah.
That, because like Lucas Connolly told me that his ex-girlfriend is now non-binary, and I was like, okay, 5 years ago, did she ever express anything about feeling like she's genderless?
Yeah.
Or
just
like
a Ken doll down there, like just yeah.
Any kind of sexual ambiguity, any kind of gender dysmorphia at all. He's like, no, she had like a lot of anxiety. It's like, okay, well, and
probably
also
just rebranded anxiety. Yeah.
Well, right. And 5 years ago, it was much more, in the zeitgeist to talk about your depression and anxiety. And now it's non-binary. So it's like, okay, if you are non-binary, I just want to know, when is the first time that you said, I feel this way, as opposed to like, oh, it's a trend right now. This is what I am.
How many people would come out as non-binary, as bisexual or pansexual, if you didn't get attention for it? If you didn't have, like, if you couldn't post about it, if you got no attention for it, how many would still come out?
Yeah, it's how many would come out, but also I would love to know like the percentage of these people that presented that idea before dumbass Demi Lovato said that she is, right?
It's honestly such a great thing for white women, because like white women, we get so much shit like, oh, we have to get a handle on our white fragility, we're not intersectional feminists. It's a way for us to like still be in the group, it's like, oh, I'm a little gay, let me in still, keep me on the team, don't throw me out. I fucking
I don't
licked a bad bagpipe once,
There, I just encountered non-binary in porn for the first time.
Ooh.
That it was like, they suck his cock or something was the
wait,
was
so
the
this
title.
Isn't an orgy? This is not a threesome, it's just the one person?
It was just one chick. It was like, where's the rest of it? And then it was like, they're playing the pronoun game and like all the descriptions and shit. It's like, you're a poor, like, you are using your titties and pussy to get views, but you're also playing the pronoun game. Like, it's just so fucking absurd.
It's actually really smart, because like all the dudes are just into chicks are gonna watch you, and all the virtue signaling, people who are trying to be like, oh, I'm super woke, like they're gonna check you out too, because then it's like it's nested under those keywords.
I mean, can you not put your ethics aside just for 20 minutes?
Me?
No, I mean,
Oh.
whoever
Oh,
these
yeah, like, can you
virtue
just suck a
signaling.
dick without it being stop making it about you. Make it about
Yeah,
this dick, please.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like, can we just take the bumper sticker off your ass
Right, you're at work,
while it's getting pounded?
Like, can I imagine my dad growing up being a landscaper announcing in between every chainsaw, like, I'm gay? He wasn't gay, but like, that would be insane for anybody else, like, while they're doing their job. Like, could you imagine going to it? Like, oh, I have to find a pansexual dentist, Like,
Right. By far the greatest story that I encountered. I love obscure news, and there was an article. It was in Newsweek and Washington Post that it was that, like, I'll botch what the headline was, but the to paraphrase, it was 90-year-old man finally comes out and finds love with a 31-year-old. And
ooh,
it
he
was
came out as lucky. Yeah.
it was this like celebration of this love story without at all being like, what the fuck, this is disgusting.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't coming out as like gay or bi or anything. He just was like, or was he coming out?
No, he came out as gay,
Okay.
and he somehow matched with a 31-year-old.
See, that I kind of buy. I buy that more than someone's like, I'm coming out as pansexual. Because it's like it's possible that you for your whole life would hold back the fact that you're gay and not be happy truly. And maybe you finally, your beard wife finally died and now you can get on Grindr.
Yeah, your grandkids finally died. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this whole right. But I mean, but that's not the interesting part of the story to me. I mean, it's like, yeah, this guy hit the ultimate home run. It's a buzzer beater that that he thought he came out as gay and found somebody. But how is this 31-year-old fucking a 90-year-old man?
He must have money.
I knew every girl thinks that it's
Come
money.
on. Or
No,
what, he's got a great 90-year-old cock, like that this 30-year-old's like, nope, I've seen all these people my age and you've
yeah.
got the better scenario here.
Yeah, it was the article was only interviewing the old dude. He's like, one of the lines was like, "We mostly hang out at my place because it makes his roommates uncomfortable." Oh, does it? That a guy that fought in World War II is fucking their able-bodied roommate? That's weird to them.
Yeah. We're fucking at my place so people don't think like his dad's coming to visit him.
Yeah, but no,
No, that would be
granddad.
grandfather. Oh,
There's no way to explain away 60 years difference. Like, you
no, he
can't
must
play
have
the
property. He must
you,
have
you
money.
can't play the game of like, yeah, I'm this old now, but in 10 years, you're like, no, he'll be dead in 10 years.
Yeah. He's trying to, or he has a secret necrophilia fetish and he's just biding his time. He's just waiting and
Ooh,
waiting.
yeah. He's just waiting until that body goes cold.
Can you imagine? Like, you could get away with it. Like, when my mom died, my dad like took a weirdly long time to like
No,
call the authorities. Oh yeah, he took a weirdly long time to like
Chrissy.
have her picked up. And I wonder, I'm like, what if he? And he's like, oh, I wanted to clean her up. I'm like, Dad, you're not a mortician. Like, what makes you think like you can clean up a dead body?
Chrissy,
But
no.
I don't, he probably was just doing a lot of crying and like man sobs, but like I remember it was like she died at like early in the morning and the people didn't pick her up till like 1 p.m. and I was like, that's too long. That's fucked up. Like I got angry at the time. I'm still probably angry. But why? It's like he was not quick with like getting her picked up. And I just wonder, like, he could have. What
But
would anyone know?
in Dad's defense, maybe there was an agreement.
Ugh.
You know,
Like, I'll let you have
maybe
to make sure
Mom.
I'm dead Fine.
Maybe,
you can do it. Put it in my butt once, but I have to be dead.
maybe mom was super game and was like one for the road. There's actually, if your dad is so inclined, there's actually a sex doll, like, you know, the real life sex doll things, that their special marketing niche is that they can perfectly recreate your dead wife.
Wow. Whew, that's a kink. That's a kink right there. My dad would never order something like that. Like, he would never. Yeah.
And
He
they're like
weirdly
$7,000.
Oh, no, he would never spend that kind of money. He won't even spend $300 to visit me in New York. He's not going to spend $7,000 on a fuck doll. He has weirdly good luck with women. Like, he's now on his second girlfriend, and my mom only died like less than 3 years ago.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have a life-size replica of your dead wife, you were really committed to not dating.
You're also, very committed to monogamy still. I kind of have to applaud that. Like, till death do us part. Not if I can help it. I will still, I'm still in it, Helen.
That's the move. That's the move, actually.
While you're, Helen maybe ordered it, right? The wife orders it, has it made.
Yes.
When she's like, I know I'm going to be dead in like 2 weeks. Order the doll, have it arrive. Maybe don't say anything. Be like, when it gets here, figure it out. Then we'll see how much you love me. My spirit will be drifting over you.
Yeah, get sex haunted.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Simon, you're obviously new to the pod. All I do is air my family's private business.
You definitely need to have a spare room if you've got a real life replica of your dead wife.
Yeah, that's like, there's no way you're back out dating. You're going to ruin your chances with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think too many pictures is probably a red flag for somebody dating a widow, but
oh yeah. But you got to have a couple. Like, if my dad took down all the pictures of him and mom, I'd be like, "Oh, you're really ready to get back out there, aren't you? Just throwing away 40-something years."
Yeah.
It's got to be weird, because I don't want him to like die alone either, and I'm sure that's what he's thinking about. Like, let me find somebody quick. I'm sure that's what the 90-year-old guy wanted to do. Like, let me find somebody so I don't like die alone here.
I mean, I think if you're a good-looking dude that's still somewhat fit at like over 60, the babes are coming for you.
My dad has a sick body. I kind of hate him for it. Like, he's in a really good shape.
Nice.
And most guys in their 70s have bad, like, they have terrible bodies. Most guys like in their 40s have terrible bodies, but yeah, he works out.
With the 90-year-old guy, it actually made me wonder of like, what if I'm so wrong and like over 90 sex is where it's at?
Right, because they say, oh, some things get better with age.
Yeah.
Imagine how many chicks you've fingered. You know what I mean? Like, how good you'd have to be at going down on somebody. But if you're 90, like, guys that are 90 right now, like, they probably haven't had a lot of sex partners. I think when we get to be in our 90s, we're going to be so good at sex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. But this guy also gay virgin at 90.
True.
That butthole might be
tight. That 90-year-old could have a tighter butthole than a 20-year-old girl.
Just
easily.
Fossilized. Like,
yeah.
What if that's really where it's at? Just no.
And it could be
legal.
Maybe the 30-year-old is like, look, all the guys I'm dating, their buttholes are like, you know,
yeah.
Let me get this 90-year-old butthole. That's untapped.
Yeah, I mean, he does get stuck on the toilet sometimes, but
that's just lack of fiber. Yeah,
but that's a tight keister, I bet you.
I would never. There's plenty of live people out there.
I mean, 90's alive. It's just barely. You still got your head on the necrophilia.
I would hate to bang a dead person because I feel like I do most of the work with an alive person anyway. I don't know.
The weirdest kink that of anybody that I've ever hung out with is that, and I'm not a kink shamer by any stretch, but there was a couple in Philly that they were both EMTs, and the guy had like he was like necro light, right? And which is pretty disturbing for an EMT to have that kink. And his girlfriend would she would put on makeup like to like make her lips blue and shit, but she would soak in a tub full of ice for like a long time.
Oh my God.
And she would just fucking lay completely still and let him run up in it.
Oh boy. I don't think I'd be willing to do that. Like I've done the submerging from hot to cold for circulation, but like
That's way different.
to go dead cold, that's too cold. I hate being cold.
But yeah, I mean, first of all, to find a chick that's game just for being cold.
Do you know what? I probably would do that if I were with a guy. I'm willing to do a lot for the person I'm with, and if I was like, okay, it's your birthday, I'm gonna do this once, okay?
No, I mean, we're talking on the regs. Like
No.
this was their thing. But just to, I mean, I feel like, you know, working your kink in like what your thing really is, you know, if you're a guy that likes butt stuff, like, you know, trying to tell your girlfriend that you want to get pegged or something, like that's got to be tough, right? Like finding the right way. But this one is, I think sex would be hotter if you were dead.
Right. I've always loved quiet women. Well, I'm quiet. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. That's kind of an insult.
That's pretty thin ice.
And also it's like a dead person. That could be anybody. Everyone is dead the same way, just about.
And well, and that's also what's scary about him being an EMT, right?
Whew. He's like, let me get this one.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll take him.
I just gotta stop at my house really quick. I gotta feed my dog. I promise. I'll have her back in an hour.
Oh, it's so gross. Yeah.
Goo. What's the weirdest thing you've done with your girlfriend?
I don't know if I should say with this. Let's not go with this.
Anyone. It could be anybody.
I also in Philly. All my weird stories are in Philly because that's when I was doing lots of drugs.
What clubs did you like doing in Philly? Like, what was the one you did with Katt?
I mean, that was like a big arena. It was Leah Chorus Center on Temple's campus. But and I started out at the Laugh House, the now defunct but infamous Laugh House. But this girl, she was really into getting choked, but really choked. And we were kind of like a Sid and Nancy type couple that we did tons of drugs together. But this time I was going up and she was going down. Like I was on a ton of blow, and I think she was on oxys, but like couldn't get choked hard enough. And the signal was that she would make little circles on my back, and if the circle stopped, then that was when I knew to let her breathe.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened with our, I mean, seemingly fail-proof system. I mean, super safe. You know, I don't know if she somehow kept making.
Oh, I thought those were squares.
It was a triangle.
Yeah, it was an octagon.
That like, I don't know if she somehow kept making them or if I was just all cooked up and didn't realize, but I looked down and her lips were blue, and she like just basically just went limp.
Ooh. Stay in school, kids. Say no to drugs.
And I immediately just started I gave her mouth to mouth, and and it took like 3 big breaths, and she like came back to life and had the craziest orgasm I've ever seen. What? And but I'm like posted up like, oh my God, like what is happening? And she was such a savage that she literally high-fived me.
Wow.
Yeah. Near-death experience, orgasm, 5.
How do you top that? It's impossible.
Yeah. You got to kill her next time.
No, boy. Oh my gosh, Richie. I did not expect such a scandalous conversation, but I'm happy it happened. Oh my God, I didn't even ask you about We Don't Deserve Dogs, your podcast.
Yeah. Now that we've talked about that, let's talk about a podcast where people just talk about their dogs. No, it's me and my girlfriend, Dr. Lisa Lippman. We do it together, and it's the world's least narcissistic interview, and it's just talking to comics and actors, and also a lot of doctors sometimes just about their pets, and it's a really interesting way to get to know somebody just by way of their animals that they're obsessed with,
and also like what they appreciate about their animals.
Right.
Yeah. Aw. Yeah. I love dogs. I have to stop and pet every dog I see. It's bad. I'm sure the owners are annoyed by it, but it's too bad.
Yeah, you get away with it. Yeah, and I'm starting a new podcast soon that it's unclear if it's going to be just me or if I'm going to do it with Matt Richards, if I can actually pin him down. But yeah, much more of just talking shit about the news.
Nice. And are you still doing that comedy consulting?
Yeah, that's yeah. I didn't know I told you about that. Yeah, I started a comedy consulting company called Funnier Than You Are, and it's been a bit of a life changer already. That we've produced 40 or so corporate shows. If you want to talk about a woke audience, oh my God, the guardrails that are up on those, they pay you to not have fun, but
yeah.
But yeah, we're also we're writing content and creating commercials and stuff for brands that want a funnier way to connect with their audience.
That's really smart. It's basically that's like what advertisers should be trying to do, but they're unable to because there's no funny people working there.
Exactly. There's one funny guy that works at every office.
Yeah.
But it's like not that funny.
And then he does an open mic. He gets demoralized. He stops. He's like, I'm going to keep it to work. I'm going to just be the funny guy at work.
But dude, the corporate comedy, fuck, man. The first complaints that we ever had from someone, it was a mental health company that was based in San Francisco, and they got and of course every time there's a complaint they have to tell you about it, and I got like 6 emails because they apparently got a dozen emails from like the 100 people that were at this show. And the joke, Harrison Greenbaum made a joke that it was like, if the election taught us anything, it's that if you're going to run for president, you should be able to actually run or at least drive at night. And a dozen people complained that was ableist and ageist.
Wow.
Like, and it was they're like, we're not asking for like our money back necessarily. It's like, I'm never going to give it to you, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, we just thought that you should know that a lot of people were concerned and offended, and some of them actually logged off of the show because they were so uncomfortable. And a lot of people, they're just so aware that there's people that are afraid of aging out of the workforce, that it was very inappropriate. Like, well, are they 78 years old and running for president? Because if they're not, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, you should know you're old. If you're old, you know what I mean? Like, let's all get a grip on like where we're all at instead of being offended. Yeah.
Well, that was an attempt at wokeism that got dashed down. There was a guy in the Netherlands who was like 60 something, and he tried to legally change his age to 27.
That's great. I feel like that's coming next. I'm like, you can change your ethnicity, you can change your gender. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like,
but it didn't work.
Well, no, it didn't work because there's like, it's a legally binding way of identifying somebody by their date of birth. But the reason that he said it was because of both job applications and dating apps that he immediately gets dismissed because of his age. But it's like, yeah, you know who would like to change their age? A lot of pedophiles.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, we're just a couple 10-year-olds, bro.
Just
But,
hanging out. Just a couple 10-year-olds with a nice sweet car. And yeah.
And all this chest hair. But like every 8 years you have to keep setting it back though, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a great example. That's why we can't change our age. Yet.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Richie, this was great. Everyone follow Richie at on Twitter. I think all of your social media handles are at Richie Redding, RichieRedding. Check out his podcast, We Don't Deserve Dogs, and his album, the number one album of the year. I love that. It's the best name.
They can't stop you from naming it that.
They can't.
I legit thought that it might not be legal, but yeah, you can name it that.
So smart of you, Richie. Anything else? Anything else you want to plug?
No, this was wonderful, and
this was great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great seeing you. Great hanging out.
Good to catch up. Hope to see you soon in the real world.
Yes, I am a Chrissie Mayr fan.
I'm a Richie Redding fan.
Look at us!
Yay, couple fans.
Couple of gays.
Couple of gays. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.